They say love they run cold from a say be warm. I go walk with you through the trials, through the storm. These things where I cry, you let me kinda cry. A door on your door, then you miss out. Kakemya ushimi, ijakebo non kebago. Kakemya ushimi, ijakebo non kebago. Bonoe, ijakebo non kebago. Make you know to leave, you for stay with me. Make you know to leave, make you know to make you know to leave, you for stay with me. Make you know to leave, make you know to make you know to leave, you for stay with me. Make you know to leave, make you know to make you know to leave, you for stay with me. Make you know to leave, make you know to make you know to leave, you for stay with me. Make you know to leave, make you know to make you know to leave, you for stay with me. Make you know to leave, make you know to make you know to leave. Don't work like they used to before, and I come to be off of your feet. Would your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Would your eyes still smile from your cheeks? And darling, I will be loving you till we're 17. And baby, my heart can still feel love's heart at 23. I'm thinking about how people fall in hands don't play the strings the same way. I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul can never grow old, it's evergreen. Yeah. And baby, your smile forever be in my mind, memory. Yeah. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe it's all part of a plan, and I just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand. But baby, now take me into your loving arms, kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars, my baby. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, baby. We found love right where we are. Oh, darling, we found love right where we are. We found love right where we are.
Wow, beautiful music by Emil.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Such a great talent.
Yes. What a way to start the morning. We found love right here.
Yeah.
Citi TV Breakfast Daily. Welcome. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. We're so thankful that you can spend your Tuesday morning with us. We have 27 days to go till we decide who will serve us for the next 4 years.
Absolutely. Well, that decision is something that's really important for all of us to get into. So, as the times are going on and we're preparing everything else, make sure that you stay tuned to Citi TV or the different programming that we have that are election-based and giving you all the information that you need. But, it's important in this season, especially as we're heading towards Christmas. Typically, all year round, it's something that happens. Accidents on the roads become more prevalent and so on and so forth. So we're getting involved in a road safety campaign.
And you know that more people have died from road accidents this year than coronavirus. So even though the world over, people are suffering from this pandemic, hundreds and thousands of people have died. In Ghana, road safety is still our biggest problem. More people die of road accidents than malaria even. So we really need to take this seriously.
It's very critical, So as part of our road safety campaign, we're going to take a quote of the day today concerning road safety. Let's take a look. So our road safety quote today says, "Drive as if every child on the street were your own." Drive as if every child on the street were your own. I think that's so important, because a lot of the times people drive in ways where they don't think of anyone else, and children are exposed to dangers. Children are exposed to, bad drivers, erratic drivers, people just doing the wrong things. I sometimes driving through neighborhoods, you see people speeding through neighborhoods. I'm like, why are you speeding through the neighborhood, right? A child could just dash across the road. And we don't think about some of these things. I think it's so important for all of us to be more aware of our environment and understand that the road is not just for us alone. We're all using it. And it's not, the road is, you see, this is the mistake that people make. The road is not just for cars, vehicles, motorized vehicles. There are cyclists and there are pedestrians. They also use the road. And all of us need to understand how the road works and to use it well.
And especially when they talk about children, because we're in an environment where some parents genuinely will send their children out and not even teach the child, look left, look right, look left again. Several times I've been on the road and someone has, you know, put a big pure water thing on the child's, literally on the child's head. And it's like, go and cross the road. You know, so you have to take that extra responsibility of just stopping the car, because you know, most of our pedestrians don't look left, don't look right. Even when they see you coming, they still just jump onto the road. But that is not an excuse for you to be speeding. If you take your time, you will know that this person that's approaching my car is not going to stop. I have the power to stop. So let me stop and let the person go. And there's absolutely no reason why. If you need to get to wherever you're going on time, leave home early. That's it, really.
About talking about road safety and the importance of it, and juxtaposing it vis-a-vis the COVID-19 situation that we're having. COVID is still real. COVID is still very present. And we have a short report. Let's take a look.
If it is true, then it flows that you should be seeing a widespread in all of these regions where you are having all of these activities. If it is true, you should be seeing it. The data should be supporting it. The data does not support that. It's a nice argument to make, especially when you want to take politicians on, but the data is not supporting that. Second, the data as was mined by the Public Health Department of the Ghana Health Service shows us that we're having a lot more issues in offices and workplaces where you have enclosed activity happening. I'm sure you saw him present the data to you.
The Information Minister, Kojo Oponkroma, is, however, urging the country's security agencies and managers of enclosed areas to ensure strict adherence to the health and safety precautions to help curb the spread of the virus.
We will reiterate a call to the security agencies and to the managers, particularly of enclosed places, to ensure that compliance with the wearing of masks at least is enforced. All of us as citizens have a responsibility to ensure that the other parts of it, where, you know, washing our hands, using of the hand sanitizer, we do it. But particular call goes out to the security agencies and the operators of enclosed places to ensure that the wearing of masks is enforced. So if you look at this particular slide, 1st to 14th of October, 432 new cases. And then in the last 2 weeks of October, that's where the challenge has been, 1,229 new cases.
So that's the Information Minister, Kojo Oponkroma, taking a defensive stand at people who are critiquing the rise in COVID-19 cases, that it's due to political campaign activities. And I must say that the only thing that's different between where we were in July and now are the political campaign activities. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with people saying that that could be the reason why these cases are going up. Not all of us go to church. Not all of us go to mosque. Cinemas are still closed. The one thing that most Ghanaians have in common, more than their tribes, more than their religion, are their political parties. So if the governing New Patriotic Party and the NDC, the biggest opposition group, will continue on to do these campaigns, not hold their supporters accountable, not even do something as simple as providing them with face masks, and then have the audacity to come on air to tell us to comply by the protocols, that the numbers are going up. It's as a result of our behavior. The numbers are not just going up out of the blue. Majority of Ghanaians are going out in the streets. They are super excited. They want either their party to come back to power or their party to stay in power. They are all throwing caution to the wind. And it's up to the political class to lead the charge. If we're saying we have strict sanctions, if the president is telling us to comply by the COVID-19 protocols, it's up to all of our political leaders to say, we won't allow you on our grounds if you don't have face mask on. To make these face masks available. They give out bags of rice, they give out t-shirts. How much will they cost for political parties to provide face masks at every single rally? When we fail to do that, then everything we're saying, they are all just mere rhetoric. Over the weekend, I went to church, And even in the on the church grounds, they provided us with face masks. I saw them right in front of the church, so that if by any chance I had forgotten my face mask at home, I would have an alternative of getting a face mask right before I enter the church. There are several supermarkets across this country that sell face masks, so that before you enter, let's assume you've forgotten your face mask, you have the opportunity to buy a face mask before you enter the supermarket. There's absolutely no excuse for politicians to not I'm not telling them to sell face masks, to not give face masks for free, because we all know that they go into the most vulnerable communities to hold some of these rallies, communities that are very poor, communities where people can't afford face masks, communities where people can be easily manipulated into voting just based on, you know, personalities and the likes. So there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't do that. And for the information minister to come out and look as though he's trying to defend the notion that politicians have a role to play and political campaigns could be contributing to the rise in the cases, I don't find it acceptable at all.
Yeah, Dziffa, no, you're right. I mean, it's very convenient for him to say it as he does. But you know, none of us is blind to the numbers. Okay, the number in July we were over 3,000. The numbers went consistently downwards. Okay, and then in October we hit 300, and November we are back up to over 1,000. Right? The logic is simple. 1 + 1 will always be 2. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you spin it, 1 + 1 will always be 2. How on earth can you deny that the heating up of political activities is not influencing, okay, the rise, particularly when you look at the abysmal compliance? Now you see, Dziffa said that, I mean, give out face masks for free. I believe that's important, but I think that even more important than that is the insistence by the leadership of these events that put on your face mask wherever, when you're climbing the podiums and leading the charge and everything. Insist on people wearing them. That's all. Insist on them, because look, most people, you find that they'll probably be carrying them in their pockets anyway. But it's like nobody's saying we should wear them. It's not a big deal. Don't wear it. And then provide them for those who also don't have, to make sure that they're wearing them. I think it's that simple. Okay, testing symptomatic cases alone is not the solution. Testing and tracing, that strategy that we used at the beginning, it worked, it will work again. Let's go back to it. Simple as that. It's really that simple.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at the Ghana Health Service website so that we can all put into perspective where we are now. As you can see there, 1,156 active cases. We have 198 new cases. 320 people who would have otherwise been alive today have died from COVID-19. Okay, and then when you see that 49,202 people were confirmed in the past, 47,726 have been discharged. As you look at this number, I want you to picture all the healthcare workers who would have had to take care of all these 47,726 people, and how they would have probably been able to spend more time with their families, enjoyed their year a bit more, if we were not reckless enough to expose ourselves to the virus in the first place. Great, we're giving them more bonuses, but I'm sure most health workers would like a day off. They would like to not expose themselves to this virus. We get it. Most of us are going to go on to survive. We're going to go on to do whatever we need to do. But let's keep our health workers in mind. Let's tell ourselves that for the rest of the year and the years that are coming up, we won't catch COVID, so that we don't have to put health workers through the stress of healing us back to being negative. It is now time for us to take a look at news making rounds across the country with News Roundup.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of News Roundup from the Ashanti region. I am Hafiz Tijani. The Minister of Roads and Highways, Mwakwata, has ordered the immediate closure of the Kubiasi toll booth in the Ashanti region. The temporary closure and relocation of the toll booth is to enable the Ghana Highway Authority to carry out emergency repair works at the current location of the facility to enhance traffic flow and ease the discomfort to the traveling public. The toll booth, which is located on the Accra-Kumasi Highway, usually experiences long queues on a daily basis as a result of vehicular traffic at the section of the toll booth. A statement issued by the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Highway Authority, Engineer Nicholas Brown, called on motorists to adhere to the safety measures that will be put in place during the period of the repair works. Finally, some residents of the Formina constituency in the Ashanti region are unhappy about Parliament's decision that the Formina seat is vacant following a decision by the incumbent MP to contest this year's elections as an independent candidate. Mr. Andrew Amakwesiama withdrew from the New Patriotic Party's primaries over allegations of sabotage and subsequently filed as an independent candidate for the December polls. The MPP, in response, wrote to Parliament to revoke his membership of the House. Days after, the Speaker of Parliament declared the Formina seat vacant. But some residents in Akukeri in the constituency have vowed to mobilize voters for the independent candidate to ensure that he wins in December. That will be all for today's edition of News Roundup from the Ashanti region. I am Hafiz Tijani.
Good morning and welcome to News Roundup from the Northern region. I am Dinah Ngwan. Let's head straight to the news. The New Patriotic Party in the Northern region has launched a special campaign aimed at soliciting the votes of hearing-impaired persons. In furtherance of this, the party has launched a group by name Deaf Group to actualize the objective. The group is expected to mobilize votes from the hearing-impaired communities while assuring them of a voice in national politics. At the launch of the group in Tamale, the founder, Radia Adama Sani, said the NPP has embarked on such an initiative because it recognizes the contribution of everyone to the growth of the country. She further revealed plans by the group to work to ensure the NPP wins the December 7 polls. And the flag bearer of the Convention People's Party, Ivor Greenstreet, says he is confident the electorate in the Kumbungu constituency will vote massively for the party's parliamentary candidate Nabila Alassane Basiru in the upcoming general elections. Speaking to Citi News in Kumbungu, Mr. Greenstreet said the CPP will win the Kumbungu seat if voters in the constituency do not allow their conscience to be bought by other political parties. The flag bearer also visited the Bewa Palace to seek the blessings of the Yana in his quest to win the presidential seat on December 7, 2020. Finally, and away from politics, as part of measures to protect and increase the population of share trees, the Global Share Alliance, GSA, says it is creating a fund to support institutions and groups to embark on share tree planting in the northern sector. Speaking to Citi News in Tamale, the managing director for GSA, Aaron Edu, said the alliance has received a $9 million grant from some donors to begin the project next year. Currently, demand for share butter is on the rise, but the population of share trees are steadily declining. The situation, according to actors in the share industry, is worrying, hence the need to develop strategies to protect the trees. As such, the Global Share Alliance launched the Action for Share Parkland, an initiative aimed at growing 10 million share trees while protecting 200 million others from destruction. That's it for News Roundup from the Northern Region. With me, Dinah Ngwan.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the News Roundup from the Upper East Region. My name is Frederick Awuni. The National Democratic Congress is promising its teeming youth supporters that it will not require of them academic qualification before offering them job opportunities if it wins the December 7 polls. This is according to the national organizer of the NDC, Joshua Akamba, who says they will rather require experience or exposure in whatever field one wants to be employed. He explained that the insistence on academic qualification in the past had disadvantaged many of their supporters, hence the change in mind. Addressing a mini rally at Danduri Park in Boku, national organizer of the NDC, Joshua Akamba, charged the youth to vigorously campaign for the victory of the NDC in the December 7 elections for what he termed jobs without certificates as a requirement. Rice farmers in the Busa South District of the Upper East Region are asking the government to support them with machinery to boost local rice production. The farmers say although the government has been supportive with the provision of subsidized seeds and fertilizer to boost production this year, inadequate tractors and combined harvesters as well as a ready market for their produce is negatively impacting on their productivity. Speaking to Citi News, some rice farmers who were harvesting at the Fumbisi rice valleys say government's intention to end rice importation in the next few years cannot be achieved if critical issues such as inadequate tractors, combined harvesters, and a ready market for local rice are not strategically addressed. Meanwhile, the Busa South District Chief Executive Daniel Gariba has assured the farmers of the government's resolve to address their concerns. And finally, the youth of Gambibgo Tengri in the Bolga East District of the Upper East Region have declared their intention to vote massively for the new Patriotic Party's parliamentary candidates for the area, Emmanuel Abole, on December 7, 2020. This, the youth say, it's in appreciation of Mr. Abole's effort at connecting the town to the national grid. According to the youth, the community since 1996 has been without electricity despite several pleas to successive governments. The youth commended Emmanuel Abole, who doubles as the district chief executive for the area, of his efforts, adding that they shall accordingly reward him on December 7. Speaking at a thank you ceremony, spokesperson for the Gambibgo Tengri Youth Association, Richard Anafo, pledged the resolve of the youth to work to ensure Emmanuel Abole wins the Bolga East constituency seat. And that ends the news roundup from the Upper East region. My name is Frederick Awuni.
All right, so that's it for the regional news roundup. We have a lot more coming up in the show today. We have a health segment. We're going to be talking about antenatal care. We have the road safety campaign. We're going to be joined by someone from the National Road Safety Authority as well, and then of course entertainment.
Guys are going to join us.
Yeah. So news review is up next. My name is David Kokusi.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Since 2017, a new dawn is breaking in Ghana. The NPP is building the foundations for growth and transformation. We are curbing unemployment with new and decent jobs.
thanks to Nana, I've got a new job through NAPCO. That is why I'm voting for him as the MPP.
The promise of free SHS is now a reality.
Through education, I have a brighter future. That's why I'm voting for Nana and the MPP.
The future of our country is in the hands of a competent leader, a man you can trust.
I trust Nana.
This December, let's protect our progress. Let's give Nana 4 more to do more for you.
2020, 4 more for Nana. 2020, 2020, Nana.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204-528-900 or 0244-707-859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the 2nd floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the newspaper news review segment on Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Let's begin with the stories making headlines on the front pages of the newspapers, beginning with the Daily Graphic. Rejected ballots and Ghana's national elections comes with an infograph of the trends since 1992 up until 2016. Banner headline says, rejected ballots, potential third force. Other stories on the front pages, security agencies charged to enforce COVID-19 protocols. Election years record higher road fatalities, road safety statistics. To the Ghanaian Times. Debt owed contractors. Government pays 800 million Ghana cedis for completed Get Fund projects. To a story related to Ghana's fight against COVID-19, Ghana Health Service, GHS, to set up COVID-19 sample collection centers across the country. Comes with a picture of Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, Director General of the Ghana Health Service. And Magdan hails government's decision to absorb electricity bills of citizens industry. To the Chronicle. We have put 76 1D 1F in operation. Nana Akomia, a member of the MPP's communication team and managing director of the State Transport Company, STC. Mr. Wise and Brave, come and meet me. Amidu also dares Mahama. Government secures 170 million euros to open bank. NHIS and Ghana cards integrated. To our last newspaper, The Finder. Amidu Mahama lock horns over 5 million euro Airbus bribery scandal. School feeding program pays 280 million Ghana cedi arrears, national coordinator. Ghana card holders can now use it to access NHIS, Dr. Baumia. Akufo-Addo's industrialization agenda unmatched in Fourth Republic, MPP. To the online stories now, beginning with citynewsroom.com. Declaring Famina seat vacant shows gaps in Ghana's constitution. That's according to the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, ASEPA. Over 38,000 polling stations to be used for 2020 polls. That's according to latest figures coming in from the Electoral Commission. To the story related to the declaration of the vacant seat in Famina in the Ashanti region, seek redress in court, Mahama Ayariga to Andrew Isiama. Amidu smearing Mahama to equalize Nanado's failed corruption fight. That's according to a member of the NDC legal team, Eduji Tamaklu. Speaker of Parliament has no right to declare Famina seat vacant. Professor Stephen Kweku Asare, US-based Ghanaian law professor. That's what he's saying. Citybusinessnews.com. COVID-19, event vendors express uncertainty ahead of Christmas. Finance Minister urges businesses to be innovative to benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area after. Transformation of NBSSI into agency necessitated by growing needs of micro, small, medium enterprises. That's according to the Executive Director of the soon-to-be transformed NBSSI to the Ghana Enterprise Agency, Kosi Yankee. Parliament passes We Power Authority Amendment Bill 2020. Regional events on AFTA and Nets to Hit region in November. It's a story from the Ghana Expo Promotion Authority. To BBC News for African and global news. U.S. election. Trump camp vows legal fight just begun. Interesting. For more news, log on to citynewsroom.com. For more business news, log on to citybusinessnews.com. I've been joined in studio by Dennis Miracles Abuaji, member of the MPP communications team, former MC Ekwapim North.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you, Duke.
Also been joined by, I'm well. I've also been joined by Amos Blessing Amose, who is Deputy Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC. Welcome, Amos.
Thank you, Duke.
So we'll break the ice with the issues related to a supposed link between resurgent rise in the numbers of COVID-19 and political activities. Do you see any link between that, Dennis? As a politician who's on the ground campaigning, same with Dennis.
Thank you, Duke. Let me say a very warm good morning to all your viewers, and special good morning to my people in Ekwapim North, the chiefs and all the leaders up here, especially to our MPP polling station executives for the very good work they are doing in ensuring that we protect the progress we've made so far as a government. I doubt if there is any research work to show the direct connection between political activities and the rise in COVID. So that we need to set that, record quite clear. The other point is that is a worry for all of us, considering where we got to. I think we got to the lowest was about 380 thereabouts cases, and for us to within a space of about 2 weeks quickly see a rise, a sharp rise in the number of cases. There could be so many factors, including all the outdoor activities that you see with political activities. So I will not, write that one off as well. But key in all the discussion is that we've gotten to a point where all of us as a people must come together to be able to ensure that we do not, have the second wave as other countries are experiencing. For me, I think that's what's most important, because we cannot also continue to hide in our rooms and under our beds forever, considering the fact that we still do not have any vaccine, we do not have any cure, and it doesn't look like there is any indication that we are going to have it any moment from now.
Interesting. So, global news. Pfizer yesterday announced that they're about 95%
super news.
With their research into getting a vaccine.
Super. So hopefully it comes and then we can all go about, our lives. But for now, we need to be able to find a way of living, in the midst of this virus. And thankfully, health professionals have been able to give all of us the guidelines as to how we can protect ourselves and protect others. And it's quite clear. We should put on our mask as we should. We should wash our hands frequently. We should use the sanitizers and what have you. I think that if all of us as a people are to adhere to these simple guidelines, then we should be able to, irrespective of all the things that we do in our daily lives, we should be able to prevent a second wave. It's very, very, very critical that we take note of that. So as we discuss what we believe are the causes, I think we should use the platforms to encourage everybody, in ensuring that we protect ourselves accordingly.
All right, I'll bring you in here, Amos.
Patrick, let me use this opportunity to say good morning to the good people of Ghana, particularly my youth organizers and my 10 executive and our NDC members who are watching us this morning. And also to say that our running mate, Professor Nana Jinopokwa-Jima, historian Greater Accra, she started yesterday. She will continue today and will run up the tour on Friday. And also to our teaming supporters who are working tirelessly in pursuit of our victory on December 7th. We salute them this morning. Now, issue related to COVID-19 and the rise in the cases and whether it has a nexus with political activities. We in the NDC will not sit here and play the ostrich and tell you that it has nothing to do with the politics that we are playing. We have been told by this government, and in fact that is the truth, that the virus moves when you move. And political activities are not static. We've seen rallies across the country, and it is not limited to only the NPP. The NDC equally, we have master people for rallies and what have you. And these are, in some instances, and I want to be honest here, in some instances, you have a number of people not even wearing the nose mask. Issues of social distancing is just a challenge in this politicking season. So you cannot decouple the issue of the rise in the cases with political activities. What we can do at best is for us to admit as a political party that the way we are going about our campaign, where people are massing up, we need to educate our people that, look, the cases are rising. We need to adhere to the WHO protocols for us not to have a second wave, but rather to deny the fact that the politicking, the massing up of people for rallies and other things has nothing to do with the rise in the cases. I think it's not the best.
So based on that, do we expect to see a change in how campaigning activities are conducted?
Of course, we in the NDC,
because so far nothing.
We in the NDC, when you listen to our flag bearer, our running mate, and all the political actors on our side, we've always encouraged Ghanaians and our supporters in particular that we should adhere to the safety protocols, whether we are engaged in campaigning or whatever. But it's just unfortunate that there is a rise in the case. But when you admit the fact that these political activities are equally contributing to what we are witnessing now, then you would take the pains to encourage your people or educate your people to desist from massing up or not adhering to the WHO protocol. But when you play the ostrich and say that it has nothing to do with it, then it means that you are not committed to even telling your people to desist from massing up in their numbers and breaching the WHO protocols. And that is where we will have a hike in the cases, and we are not careful, like we are witnessing in the European world, the second wave, we may likely hit that. That is not where we want to get to.
Okay, so let's begin with the first story, main issue for discussion. Electoral Commission says they are 95% ready to conduct 2020 polls. Story from citynewsroom.com reads, says the Electoral Commission says it is 95% prepared to deliver successful, credible, and orderly elections on December 7th, 2020. The chairperson of the Electoral Management Body, Jean Mensah, has assured that issues related to procurement, logistics, and conduct of the election within a safe environment, despite the advent of COVID-19, have been thrashed out. Speaking at a special hearing of the EC, she said her outfits in Parliament on Saturday. She said her outfit's preparedness is expressed in the procurement of a variety of election materials for the election, including ballot boxes, thumbprint pads, stationery, identification jackets, polling station booths, rechargeable lamps, indelible ink, educational posters, seals, and others. To quote, it says, I am pleased to inform you that the Electoral Commission is 95% ready for successful, credible, fair, orderly, and peaceful conduct of the election on December 7th. She also dispelled the notion that she does not have respect for her. The EC boss disclosed that the total cost of materials for election 2020 was 8,373,554, which has promoted the efficiency of staff as well as the swift movement of goods and materials from the stores to regions and districts, and also helped to eliminate costs that were associated with the hiring and rental of vehicles. I'll begin with you, Dennis. Is the Electoral Commission prepared? 95%. What about the 5%, if I may ask?
I think this commission is probably one of the best commissions we've had in recent times. And if they tell us that they are ready, we have every cause and reason to believe that they are ready. Because so far, looking at all the constraints they've had to work, with them, we all agree that 2020 has been an exceptionally abnormal year, which has come with its own challenges. And so for the commission to be able to, in the midst of all these challenges, put together all the things they've done to date, clearly tells you the level of competence and capacity that we find in the commission, starting from when the registration took place to when the exhibition took place and all the processes. You remember when they were going to start the registration, all the brouhaha and all the chaotic comments. Some people were saying that if the registration should go ahead, we're going to see lifeless bodies and dead bodies on the streets because of COVID-19, and so they should not go ahead. They gave us very firm assurance that they were going to put in place mechanisms to ensure that every single registrant is protected. And we saw clearly how they did that. During the registration, nobody could come and tell us that as a result of the registration, COVID-19 has led to the death of, these number of people. And so we should believe in the EC if they tell us they are ready. I think she even gave an indication of what she meant by 95% and what is left. Because she mentioned that as it stands now, the only thing that is left is for them to send the ballots and then the registers. It means that all other logistics are gone. And that tells you how proactive they are. Because, we've all been part of these electoral processes for a very long time. And there used to be days where, even at the district or municipal level, a day to elections, you still yet to receive ballot boxes and, all the boxes they used to cordon off, public view and all of that. So if we have 1 clear month to elections and these things have already been dispatched, I think that's something we need to commend the commission for. I believe the commissioner, if she tells us that we are to expect a fair, credible, and very safe elections. Because
there have been accusations that this commission is not, in terms of its organization, is not participatory enough. Even this statement came from Parliament, and it was made during the special sitting of Parliament with the EC. Even before that, there were various calls from the minority that the commission as a body did not respect Parliament, because on several occasions the commission had been invited to brief the members on preparedness and the rest, and she had not responded to all those concerns, even in terms of participation.
Yesterday, in the presence of Parliament, it came out clearly that it was all lies, because the commissioner indicated right there in Parliament, and nobody from the minority rose up to say that it is not true. She indicated that she has never turned out any invitation from Parliament right before them, and I'm sure if they had any contrary facts to that, they would have gotten up to show any form of evidence. So those are all part of the cooked up allegations from especially the minority and the NDC to demonize the commission and try to cast a certain level of slur on the credibility of the elections. It's obvious, just as we are seeing in the US now, it's a political strategy that usually politicians and political parties lose when they realize that they actually lose in elections, like Trump did. Remember, a few weeks to the elections, Trump started, casting a lot of slur that they are going to steal the elections and they intend to rig the elections, and so we are not going to allow mail-in ballots. And NDC, led by their flag bearer, have been doing this in the last couple of weeks, where they say, well, the commission said they are not going to use manual verification. They are going to use it, and we are not going to accept any flawed elections. And there are all indications that the election is going to be flawed. This from the flag bearer.
But are these concerns not to strengthen the process and make it very participatory and open to everyone who has a stake in the election?
You make such allegations backed with evidence. Okay. That is when you actually contributing to it. Because, I mean, talk is cheap, and these are doom-mongering if you do not back it with evidence. If you say these things, you back them with facts and evidence, not speculations. Because, you see, elections are quite, it's sentimental. People attach a lot of sentiments and passion to it. And so if you are going to make commentary to support the strengthening of the process, then you must make it with evidence and facts, not speculations. Sometimes when you say they should provide evidence, they'll be referring to the register when some names were not there. Those are all parts of the processes. They are not flaws. If you go to an exhibition of a register and there are names missing or there are names wrongly spelled, they are not flaws. They are part of the processes. It's in the law. And there is a reason why the law puts in the exhibition so that some of these anomalies will be fixed. So you cannot refer to that as an evidence because it's not a flaw. It's part of the process. So far, I think that the Electoral Commission has been able to live up to the bill. They have clearly demonstrated that they are in for credible elections. No one in this country has been able to so far proven with hard facts, apart from speculation, anything that shows that the elections will not be free and fair. Ultimately,
the sheer number of missing names, over 30,000 of them, 18,000, the NCC, earlier last week pointed out that if these anomalies are not corrected, it could turn chaotic at the polling center. People go there and they won't find their names, 18,000 names.
If your name was not on the register, that was the reason for the exhibition, so that you use that period to rectify. That is the essence of the exhibition, and that is why the law made provision for it. The Electoral Commission came out clearly to indicate that they have fixed all these anomalies, and they have rectified all the names that are missing. So far, I am yet to hear anybody who had come up to say that, okay, well, my name is not on the register, blah, blah, blah. I think that the Commission even indicated clearly to all of us what the fail-safe strategy would be if we should have an incidence of that manner. I think that in order for us to avoid the issues of chaos and what have you, we need to follow through with the structures that the Electoral Commission will put in place.
All right,
once we do that, then we can be sure that we'll all go through this process on the 7th December without stress.
Let me bring you in here. Electoral Commission 95% prepared. They also indicate that they are increasing the number from 33,000 to 35,699. So just to read the story to put the matters in context. The Electoral Commission says there will be more polling stations for use in the upcoming December 7th, 2020 parliamentary and presidential elections. This is because it has designated 38,622 polling stations going into the polls. The number is an increase from the more than 33,000 polling centers used in the previous election. Already, the Electoral Management Body has declared its readiness for the voting, as well as its confidence in the credibility and integrity of the voters' register. Director of Electoral Services at the EC, Dr. Shebo Kwaku, in a Citi News interview disclosed that the Commission merely split up the original polling stations. To quote him, he says, "We want to reduce the queuing at the polling station so that the Commission decided to put the threshold at 749, so any center that is more than that is split. So there are some centers that have been split into 5. Some are 4, 3, and 2. The splitting has created about 5,000 plus centers. So there are no new centers. The splitting is around the whole country, but mostly in areas that are densely populated." This is to make the process much more easier to manage, but the NDC still has concerns about how the Electoral Commission has managed this whole process. They say they are 95% ready. You still have concerns with the kind of procurement that has been done, logistics, and even deployment as at now, with about 28 days to the election.
Well, thank you very much. We in the NDC are not in a position to state that the EC or state any figure in terms of percentage, in terms of preparedness. So if the EC is saying that they are 95% prepared, we are inclined to believe so. But the issue about the Electoral Commission from the genesis when Madam J. Mensah was appointed and how the EC itself has conducted its affairs to where we find ourselves today. As a reason why sometimes we have cause to raise alarm, because when you don't open up the process, you don't engage the major stakeholders, you give them room to raise questions. You recall recently the printing of ballot, where we raised alarm that extra ballots were being printed, where we in the NDC had not been informed, and the EC.
But that has always been a part of the process. There's always a room for excess number of ballots.
In fact, the law allows that. The law allows that. Let me explain.
Someone may say that the law
might have been allows that. Our concern was that when you are printing ballots, you notify the political parties, because we are part of the process. And when you started printing the ballot, we have our agents there to monitor the printing. So if you have cause to print extra ballot, which even the laws allow, the best thing to do would have been to inform the political parties, I mean in this case the NDC, that we are going to print this ballot here, so send your agent. If they had done that, the NDC would have been part of that process. They would not have even raised any issue in the first place, because we know, per the law, you don't print exactly the number of people on the register, because sometimes you have spoiled ballot and rejected ballots. So when you do that, you deny others the opportunity to get ballots to vote. So we don't have a problem with that. Our challenge with that issue was that they did not inform the NDC for us to even send our agent there. What was the essence of having our agents in the printing room? It was to monitor the process and also to get the ballot statistics so we could track the printing. That was not done. That was our issue.
The NDC over the period has taken a certain antagonistic stand against the Electoral Commission. It looks like almost every step of the way the NDC has concerns with the process, whether valid or not.
It is not antagonistic. We have never been antagonistic. We raise issues relating to the process. And mind you, the NDC is a major stakeholder in this election. And we have always insisted that we needed a credible, fair, and transparent election. In fact, the NDC would be very happy if we conduct the election, the process is credible, fair, and transparent. We are declared winners. And now our major opponent who have record of challenging election results will not have cause to challenge it. That is the process we want. But back to our issues about their preparedness. You see, this is the Electoral Commissioner who will say A. And at the end of the day, when the time is due, you will see a different thing on the ground. You recall, a day to the start of the registration exercise, Madam J. Mensah addressed the nation and assured us that they have procured thermometer guns for every registration center. Indeed, she mentioned that they had procured their own canopies, chairs, and that they were not going to use anything from anybody because of the rise in COVID-19. Now, your reporters, and I'm sure yourself, you visited some of the registration centers. There were some of the registrations, there were no thermometer guns. I mean, we all went there. There were some of the registrations.
Where I registered, there was
no thermometer gun.
There was one.
There was one.
Yes.
But I am saying that the number of polling stations you visit, there was no thermometer gun. There was no, the so-called ambassadors that they claim. And even this address, he mentioned again that they would deploy 86,000 COVID-19 ambassadors at every polling station to ensure that the people adhered, voters adhered to what the WHO protocols. But you know, even the registration, your station, you did a number of reports where the adherence to WHO protocols was completely breached.
All right, those were the instances. We'll take a break. When I come back, you will have the opportunity to wrap up your point and then we'll go to the next one. Yes, we have to acknowledge our sponsors. Yes. We'll be back after.
Sunana Abdulrazak. Last week, I received a message from Bet Planet. Kamang now win golden ticket. Nadan je saya ma Mercedes Benz inda. Wamba ku yadda kuma gashi nan ga sunana kai. An ga na gora kaman gaskiya ne. Mun na so ce na gode Bet Planet. Na gode ma kowa.
If you win, no one win like Bet Planet. My baby, hold it low. If you win, no one win like Bet Planet.
Hello and welcome back. This is the news review segment on Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. My name is Trukman Sopoko. I still have in studio Amos Blessing, I'm a Deputy Greater Accra Youth Organizer of the NDC, and Dennis Abuaje, a member of the communications team of the NPP. Before we went to the break, the discussion was with regards to the state of preparedness of the Electoral Commission ahead of the 2020 polls. I would allow Amos, give Amos about some 2 minutes to wrap up his point and allow for a battle, then we'll move on to the next issue.
Well, Duke, so back on what I was saying, I think we need to stick to the facts when we are addressing the issues relating to the Electoral Commission, because the statement the Electoral Commissioner made in Parliament, the statement of record, because she made it on the floor of Parliament, so it's definitely captured by the Hansard of Parliament, and I believe some online portals have published it. But you see, my friend made some comments that are not factual. The Electoral Commission never stated anywhere that they've deployed ballot boxes to the district offices. What they have even not stated anywhere that they have finished printing ballots. What the Electoral Commission statement? Hold on. I'll explain to you. What the Electoral Commission said is that they have procured ballot boxes, and even the printing of the ballot boxes, they are done with Upper East and Volta region. The other regions are still printing ballot boxes, ballot papers for the other regions. I mean, if by now they have finished fair, but as at the time she made the statement on the floor of Parliament, and you will check in the statement, she categorized some of the regions as ongoing, and even in the case of Eastern region, she made the point that for that one, compared to the other regions that are ongoing, Eastern region is far below the number that they have printed. It is referring to ballot papers. I'm referring to ballot papers, not ballot boxes. Okay, sorry if I have mixed it. I'm referring to ballot papers, not ballot boxes. Exactly. Yeah. I'm referring to ballot papers. Yeah, but now I never said if you would allow me.
Dennis, allow him.
No, but if you correct me.
That's what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah.
They never mentioned anywhere that they have finished printing.
Page 4 of the statement says that a majority of so Mr. Speaker, the printing of ballots is currently underway in 7 printing houses in Accra, namely Back Press Assembly, Fonstart, Inolink, Yasako Checkpoint, As Commercial Limited. Mr. Speaker, printing of our 2020 register is currently also underway, and we are confident that we'll complete this process and distribute the registers well within time for the December 2020 election. It's important to know, Mr. Speaker, that the political parties have submitted their hard drives to the Commission. A soft copy of the register was made available to them yesterday. She also states that it is important to... Okay, so Mr. Speaker, as we speak... so the point is about printing of ballot papers.
Ballot papers, yes.
So says Mr. Speaker,
when you move down, there's a table where catalog the number.
It's been printed. So Ashanti region completed, Volta region completed, Western North completed, Upper East completed, Upper West region completed.
Not completed. You have ongoing.
Not completed is Eastern region, which is there.
Which is ongoing.
Which might probably be part of the 95%.
But check the statement. It has a table, and in the table they mentioned that even where they have indicated completed, they have ongoing, meaning that the only regions that it is complete, they have completed everything, is Upper East and Volta region. Check the statement, the table that you have. But even that, let's go beyond that. The issue even about the register, you have mentioned that the Electoral Commission, after the exhibition exercise, subsequently announced that they have deleted how many 30,000 names from the register because of issues of double registration. Now, the NCC, let's even leave out the NDC, because we have equally made that call. The NCC has come out to advise the Electoral Commission that they should publish the names of those whose names have been deleted from the register, because there will be no opportunity for exhibition again for them to check their name. As we speak, you don't know whether your name is part of the 30,000. My good friend doesn't know whether his name is part of the 30,000.
To that, the Electoral Commission said, it is important to correct an impression that 18,619 names on the multiple list refers to individuals. For the record, this number reflects the total number of multiple registrations, and as such, if a person has registered 10 times, all 10 instances will be on the list. It's therefore not made up of 18,619 unique individuals, but rather of multiple registration. Also, they also further indicated that 547 persons are on a certain demarcated list.
We can only know this. We can only corroborate what the Electoral Commission is saying when the names are published.
Which is allowed. These are the facts as presented to the People's House, which we made allusion to. That's why I'm bringing these facts.
You are a journalist. As we speak, can you point to me anybody who has registered 10 times or 5 times in the list that the Electoral Commission. It is within the bosom of the Electoral Commission, isn't it? Yeah. So it is just fair for the Electoral Commission to publish them. So we know that these persons indeed registered 2 times, 5 times, or 6 times. Now, you may even have your name on the list, and you may have cause to believe that you did not register 2 times. That is, in that case, you have as rights to even challenge the Electoral Commission to prove that indeed you did not register 2 times or 3 times. The Electoral Commission has not done that. So we have issues of persons who may even go to the polling station and may not find their name because of, this is a human institution, so they may make errors. So it is just fair that the Electoral Commission will respond to calls, but not only the NDC, but the NCC, which is a constitutional creation, to publish the names of persons whose names have been deleted from the register. And we may pardon the Electoral Commission. There are an aspect of what we are doing, which is in respect of the ruling by the Supreme Court about the ROPA. We may pardon the Electoral Commission because all of us, we know the situation we find ourselves, where borders have been closed in other countries and even there is a second wave. So we may not necessarily go into it. But the problem we may have is that what about those who went to court and secure that ruling? What would be their position in respect of this election? Because it is the Supreme Court ruling. They have not gone back to court for the Supreme Court to change its stance on that ruling. So we are in for a lot of things, but we in the NDC, we are committed to the process. We are very hopeful that this election will find favor with the electorate, and we are anticipating that the Electoral Commission, despite the fact that it has not been entirely factual in the past, will this time, the assurance that they have given us that they are 90% ready and they have procured all the items and that if they have all the logistics in place on the day of election, we will see those things. Because you see, we have just discussed issues about rising COVID-19 cases, and on the day of voting, we will be expecting that at least there should be strict adherence to the WHO protocols, so that after the election, we will not have an increase in the cases. So if they are assuring us that they are going to deploy 86,000 or more COVID-19 ambassadors, and they will have their thermometer guns, and they will ensure social distancing, and the fact that they have even limited the number of registered voters at a particular polling station because they have a ceiling of 749, I think, or 750 at each polling station, just for them to decongest the polling station and make sure that voting does not run into the night and it is counted early for everybody to leave the polling station. We welcome that, and we are expecting that they will do exactly as they have assured Parliament.
Duke, you know, I made this point. Yeah, I made this point before I even said anything about EC, that the NDC is trying really hard to demonize the NDC. Every single allegation that they've made, they are just empty. Okay. For example, registration. We're in this country. There is no single registration center in this country that the Electoral Commission did not have the Veronica buckets and the thermometer gun.
I'll point you to one. I'll point you to one. He is challenging that there is no single police station. Go to when you were speaking, there is a police station called Pentecost Pentecost Church 8. Go to that police station. Who are the registrations? There was no thermometer gun. I have mentioned this. Allow Dennis to wrap up his point and let's move on to the second issue.
This is their style. They sit on air. When they don't put in evidence and you ask them,
I have just mentioned the evidence to you. To a police station.
Yeah, but
what else do you speak?
Amos,
you are mentioning evidence.
No, but you see, you don't control the conversation.
I'm sorry, but you are sitting on TV and then on top of your head you mention. So it is not true. The Electoral Commission actually provided the safety, protocol tools in all the registrations. That's one fact. The second point is that the issue about printing excess ballots, the NDC have kept saying it and the Electoral Commission have kept correcting them. They know it. They deliberately try to distort it. You contradict yourself. You say that in all the printing houses you have agents. Then you come back to tell us that they are printing excess ballots that you are not aware of. What is he talking about? Is it the case?
The point is that there was printing of excess ballots at another printing house where our agent was not informed. That was what the point. If you don't understand this, you ask for explanation. If you don't understand this basic thing,
I don't think
you explain this.
If you do this, we can't have meaningful conversations. It's not right. No, but it's not right.
It's not.
It's totally.
It will only be right when you stick to the facts. And what is on the table.
Let's move on. We have some messages here. We'll read them and move on to the next issue after discussion. Solomon says, I think this time around the ambassadors can work effectively because it's a one-day event as compared to the registration which was over a period. That's from Solomon. This is from Theophilus Techi. says, well spoken and well debated, then skip these good communication skills up. Kamel Yasaba in Tamale says, Ghanaians trust the Electoral Commission to execute a peaceful and successful election on December 7th. Let's move on to the second issue up for discussion. It's got to do with the Airbus issue and related matters. This is a response. When I give you the opportunity to speak about the Airbus, you can talk about it. Yes, we need to move on. Thank you very much. There's no stupidity or cowardice in deferring Airbus probe Amidu to Mahama. The Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu has hit hard at former President John Dramani Mahama for labeling him as a coward by deferring investigations into the controversial Airbus bribery scandal. It will be recalled that Mr. Amidu, in his corruption risk assessment report on the Ejapa deal, gave an update on his investigation of the Airbus scandal and said he's convinced John Mahama was involved in wrongdoing. He also said he was holding on with his probe into Mahama's alleged involvement in the infamous scandal till the December 7th general elections. In his latest response to the former president, Mr. Amidu said the comment from Mr. Mahama shows the latter's lack of understanding of issues of security and intelligence. He says, to quote, he says, the long public service of the special prosecutor spanning various aspects of security and intelligence from the period of 1982 to 7 January 2001 and July 2009 to January 2012 makes him more experienced in determining when it is not conducive to the national security interest to foolhardily take certain law and order actions. The special prosecutor owes that exercise of discretion to his vast experience over the years, his responsibility to maintain national stability, and his conscience as a patriotic anti-corruption crusading Ghanaian. Then there is a response from the NDC, as communicated by Eduji Tamaklo, member of the legal team. Says, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo has taken on the special prosecutor for insisting that former President John Mahama engaged in wrongdoing in the infamous Airbus bribery scandal. Mr. Amidu, in his corruption risk assessment report on the Ejapa royalties deal, gave an update on his investigation on the Airbus scandal and said he's convinced John Mahama was involved in underhand dealings in the Airbus scandal. The special prosecutor, however, said he's holding on with the investigation into Mr. Mahama's alleged involvement in the scandal till after the December 7 general elections. In response, Mr. Eduji Tamaklo says, to go to what he says specifically, says, today has become clear that the Akufo-Addo administration, Akufo-Addo's appointees have become very corrupt. Corruption has become very pervasive under the administration. And so in order to equalize for the failed Akufo-Addo's attempt at fighting corruption, he should throw in John Mahama in this. The issues surrounding the back and forth and the banter between the special prosecutor and the former President John Dramani Mahama, is it necessary in the first place?
Okay, but before I come to that, anybody who has been challenged by the Electoral Commission in terms of their registration, they are aware. There is a process they go through, legal process that they go through. In fact, some of them have even gone to the presence of a judge and rulings have been given. So that is a fact. So if you have been disqualified or your registration has been challenged at this point, you are aware. Now, moving to the issue of the special prosecutor and the former president. I think that His Excellency, the former president, John Mahama, is gradually becoming a threat to the unity and cohesion of this country. If you follow some of his utterances, getting into the heat of the elections, he's made a couple of them. And for me, the highest point is to stand publicly on a platform, a statesman as he's supposed to be, a former president, and call the state prosecutor stupid. I think it's the lowest of it all. And it's high time somebody around the flag bearer of the NDC prompts him and draws his attention to the fact that he's not just a flag bearer of the NDC and that he's a former president and must live up to a certain standard.
The concern he raised was, you are investigating a Ejapa, why do you bring in Airbus?
It doesn't warrant you calling the state prosecutor stupid. I want to make that point. It is the same His Excellency John Mahama. He has made a couple of loose comments. Recently, he called the president and his government Sakawa, which we all know what the meaning of Sakawa is. recently he made a very dangerous comment that the government is putting guns in the hands of hooligans instead of the police, which is also a very serious statement. He made a statement not too long ago about the fact that the government, as the Electoral Commission, is trying to rig and steal the elections. These are all comments that if you make as a statesman, you are threatening directly the cohesion and the unity of our state.
But if these are the concerns of the political entity he leads, should he not express them
you can
as the leader of the opposition going into a crucial election?
Without going low. You can express it without doing it in a manner that makes you come across as a serial caller who is trying to inflame passions and just say something in the person. You are the former president of the state. Now, coming to the issue, it is a fact that somewhere in 2010, the former president, who was then vice president, started the transaction and the negotiation for the Airbus. It is also a fact that along the line between 2012 and 2014, according to the report from the SFO in the UK, the former president's brother, Samuel Adam Mahama, received some amount of money running into about 5 million euros. He has been identified as an intermediary. And according to the SFO report, these monies were being collected on behalf of its elected government official one. Don't forget, the special prosecutor wrote to the SFO in the UK requesting for documents and details of the issue, which the SFO provided him. And the special prosecutor has come out clearly. In his report, he indicated clearly that he has received the fact which indicates that the former president is the government official one who was named in the report by the SFO, who happened to have received monies through his brother, Samuel Adam Mahama.
That brings in the political motive. He also indicated that he's not investigating him because he's a presidential candidate going into an election. So if there's something that would raise political capital against him, don't you think he deserves the right to respond to that?
I'll come to that. He went on to indicate that the president, the former president, is the one who actually guaranteed the passport for Samuel Adam Mahama. And in fact, he went on to state that they presented inaccuracies and some misrepresentation in the details, biodata of Samuel Adam Mahama, which was the fact that he had completed the University of Ghana, which was also a lie. And he's clearly stated all these things which go directly to indict the former president. But listen, he did not say that his halt or pause on the prosecution of the former president or the investigation of the former president is as a result of not wanting to hurt him politically. That's what he said. He said for the sake of national security. And I'll explain to you. Sometimes, when you have to deal with issues of people who are in public eye, especially the former president, who is the leader of the second biggest opposition party in Ghana, you need to be cautious. Imagine that 1 month to elections, special prosecutor says, I have sent a subpoena, or whatever they call it, to the former president. He needs to come. I am going to investigate. You can imagine what would happen, the sort of euphoria that would generate, the sort of tension that will create. So the special prosecutor must really be commended for his intelligence and his emotional balance to understand that this is not the right time to begin investigation into this matter on the former president, who was a man toward election, which could degenerate into some form of tension and what have you. You are here clearly indicating the points that the NDC have made. That, well, what he is doing is to score political points. If he had gone ahead to investigate the former president at this point, it is the same interpretation that would have been placed onto it. You get what my point? Now, he didn't say anyway that he is trying to do anything for anybody. He presented a report on the Japa deal, a report that he himself initiated. You know, the risk assessment.
But if you don't separate the issues, it raises concerns.
If you read what he said in the report, there is no ambiguity about it. He said he did this in the interest of the state, the arrest assessment, and that this is not the only investigation that he's conducting. He has other cases. He mentioned other cases. Don't forget, it's not only the Airbus that he mentioned. He mentioned the Charles BC issue. He mentioned so many other cases that he's already working on, and indicated that at the right time, he's going to go into those cases as well. It was just to give an indication to the president that, Mr. President, I ask that you pause on the IPO for the Ejapa deal so that I can investigate it. Now, I have finished. This is the report, but please bear in mind that I also have the Airbus, investigation that I need to conduct, and that my preliminary checks clearly indicates that Mr. Mahama, who is the flag bearer of the NDC, is government official one. Now, as I conclude, Duke, it is very important that we do not hide these issues under the colors of politics. The NDC, we all know, is very incompetent in government. But they used to be very, very competent in opposition, and we give that to them. If you listen across the country, you see NDC, when they are in opposition, they do well. However, Mr. Mahama leading the NDC in opposition has rendered the NDC highly incompetent in opposition as well, which is making them now an incompetent party in government, and at the same time an incompetent party in opposition. And that is where my worry and my fear is. Because already, do not forget, already he started behaving like Donald Trump. He is already blowing hot air. He's already casting a lot of slur on the elections. He's already saying that they will not accept this, they will not accept that. If you read one of his statements, and if you may allow me,
for want of time, you may have
not just 30 seconds. I'll just 30 seconds. He said that just 30 seconds. He said that this can lead this nation to chaos. Because I have said it on 7 December. When this election is flawed, we will not accept it. No one accepts a flawed election. And listen to what he said, and this is where it is very dangerous. He said, and when we talk, everybody is quiet. And if something untoward happens, then they will say it's this person's fault. But when we are giving enough warning signals that the Electoral Commission is creating problems, that one they are not listening to us. This is enough signal. This is enough signel that John Mahama is preparing the country for chaos.
Yes, you have.
I believe the time has been given. I'll also be allowed
be allowed. Yes, 7 minutes.
First and foremost, John Dramani Mahama never called the special prosecutor stupid. I was the MC for the program that John Dramani Mahama made the observation or the assertion about the special prosecutor. The point he made was that you are investigating or conducting a risk assessment on a Japa deal, which he, the special prosecutor, voluntarily initiated. You recall that Stranek even petitioned him in respect of the same investigation, and he declined. He refused to admit that petition and called Stranek names. Now, you do a risk assessment of that Japa deal, and in preparing your 64-page document, for whatever reason, he inserted Airbus into it.
He also mentioned PP. Mind you, in his letter yesterday that
if you allow me,
investigating the royalties monetization agreement and other related matters.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Which is the caption of his
statement. I will explain to you why the mischief in what he has done.
Okay.
You see, Martin Amidu was not doing, conducting or assessing corruption in Ghana or cases he is investigating in Ghana. He told Parliament and he wrote to Parliament indicating that he was doing a risk assessment of a Japa deal. So if you are doing a risk assessment of a Japa deal, you present a report on a Japa. And the former president indicated at that forum that if you have cause to believe that I am complicit in Airbus, investigate me and present a different report on Airbus.
Now that was should voluntarily.
Who even get there? You see, my brother said the reason why he inserted Airbus and the other cases that he claims he is investigating is to inform the president that this was what he is doing. Mind you, under Section 3, subsection 3 of the Special Prosecutors Act 2017, Act 959, the Special Prosecutor is mandated every year to present a report on the cases that he is prosecuting. Is it not true?
Yes, it's that.
So if you have that, and in fact, on 27th of February 2020, he presented a report on 2 cases. Republic versus Mahama Yariga, Republic versus Hawa and other people. So if you have that opportunity mandated by law, why then again do you report to the president that these are the issues I'm investigating? And because
but he also reserves the right to mention,
to talk,
to bring in comments about anything he's ready.
Not when you have indicated that you are doing a risk assessment of a Japa. Mind you,
Mr. Martin Amidu's office is not an office for him to level allegations against people. Under Section 2 and 3 of the Act, he is mandated by the law to investigate and prosecute alleged corruption and suspected corruption-related issues.
And politically exposed persons.
Investigate and prosecute, not pick reports, pick snipers of information and intelligence, throw it into the public and say that these are the persons who have been named as public government official one. You sit here and you make all manner of allegations. It remains allegation because it is only the court that can pronounce the guilt or otherwise of anybody who has been accused of corruption. You see, so whatever Martin Amidi is holding still remains allegation. You claim that Mahama guaranteed for this person, Mahama did this, Mahama did that. All this information are with you. What is stopping you from investigating the former president and prosecuting? And man, you even made a comment that because by the virtue of the fact that he is a flag bearer of a political party, he is incapacitated to investigate him and that he is deferring the investigation. Now, this is...
Which he justifies with national security.
It doesn't even make sense in the first place. I will explain to you. You know why? Martin Amidu will end up, if indeed he wants to investigate John Dramani Mahama, he will end up not investigating John Dramani because he has nothing on him. And I will explain to you. You realize that the former president, this is the time that if you have something against him, you investigate him now. Because he's a leader of a major political party that is poised to win election on December 7th. Immediately, John Dramani Mahama and the NDC wins the December 7th election. You are a parliamentary correspondent, I think you are conversant with our laws. Wins the December 7th election. And on January 7th, he is sworn in as the President of the Republic of Ghana. His immunity kicks in under Article 57, Clause 5. He's immune from civil and criminal proceedings. So if you are telling me now, as a flag bearer, when there is no law stopping you from investigating him, and when he becomes president, when are you going to investigate him? It tells you clearly, Martin Amidu is just on an agenda to equalize the endemic and pervasive corruption under the MPP. And that is exactly what he's doing. He did it in 2016 and we allowed it to pass. But this time round, we are not going to allow Martin Amidu to play his mischief and do whatever he wants to do. This is a man who has turned his office. And you see, there's nothing even special about the office he's occupying. The name is Special Prosecutor.
This is an office that enjoyed broad consensus.
Exactly, but he has, like Manasseh said, he has desecrated that office, which is bitterness. What we are witnessing now is not a special prosecutor, but a bitter prosecutor. He made so much noise. He made so much noise about the Republic of versus Ayarega. The matter went to court. It is still in court anyway. The first one, what happened? Right. So you see, you don't sit there. The former president has. I'm coming. Let me land. The former president has dared him. The former president has dared him that if you have something against me, investigate me. Now you have thrown a counter challenge to the former president that can't voluntarily let me investigate you. Where on this earth have you heard that the police have made allegations? I beg you are not the one controlling the shoe. No, let me. You allow him to exactly. Where on this earth has the police pointed to a specific person as an armed robber,
so,
and the person has dared them to correct, and the police is telling the armed robber to come to me.
Yes. So we would have to wrap up because of that time. 20 seconds.
I need to. I think that in my brother's ranting, I thought he was going to indicate the fact that John Mahama is not government official one.
But where is the evidence to show that he's a government official?
Why are you like this?
Right.
No, where is the evidence to show that
we would end the discussion here, and that's how we wrap up today's edition of Breakfast Daily. That's the news review segment. Up next is the health segment with Dr. Kelvin talking about Antenatal. We had in the studio Dennis Abuaje and Gabriel Amose, who is Deputy Youth Organizer of the NDC in the Greater Accra region. Keep watching Citi TV. We'll be right back after this break.
2 weeks ago, I had nowhere to turn to. I needed funds urgently. That's when I ran into Wafakofi. It's you, Wafakofi.
Hello.
It's good I saw you here.
Really?
You know, with businesses restarting after the lockdown, getting funds has been really difficult to pay for some of the goods in high demand, and my supply is no longer selling on credit.
Sister Ama, my financial partner is Advanced Savings and Loans. Advanced stayed by my side all through the COVID crisis. They offered me grace period. They also gave me advice on how to manage my business, and now they are here to help me clear my containers by offering me a loan.
Are you sure they are giving out loans even during the COVID pandemic?
Yes, Advanced Ghana has you covered.
So that's how I got a loan to stock up my shop.
Call us on 0800 355 355 or visit our nearest branch for our various loan and deposit products. Advance, your preferred financial partner.
In Ghana, the law enjoins all drivers and passengers in a moving vehicle to wear a seatbelt. No excuse is good enough for not wearing a seatbelt. Seatbelts that are fitted in vehicles are adjustable, so please adjust it to suit you. Let it rest as close as possible to the body. As a driver, before you drive off, ensure everyone else, especially children in the vehicle, have fastened their seatbelts. The airbag is not an alternative to a seatbelt, because in the event of a crash, only the fastened seatbelt will stop a passenger from being thrown far forward. So buckle up. Stop road crashes now. Stay alive.
This road safety education is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority.
Hello, sisters. I have a peculiar situation, which is this. After every sexual encounter with my husband, he watches porn on his phone and masturbates. I spoke to him about it. I spoke to him about it because I'm really uncomfortable and find it weird. He told me that he cannot stop. In his words, just as there's foreplay, there's afterplay. Damn. I don't feel I'm enough for him. What do I do?
I would have another conversation and call him out on that afterplay thing, because if you still have energy to go, then let's go together.
Probably there's some unfulfillment somewhere. So talk to him. What other fantasies do you have apart from what we have been doing? Talk to me so that, if we can strike some sort of agreement, then we can, because obviously it's going to make you feel very, very inadequate.
After pay is kodo and sleep.
Exactly.
After pay is kodo. Why do you say kodo? I said cuddle and cuddle. I said kodo
and sleep.
So if you are not kodo and sleeping, then you are doing this highly energetic affair, then it's a big problem.
Sister is sponsored by Vodafone. The future is exciting. Ready, secure, you decide.
You fix your makeup just so, 'cause you don't know that you're beautiful. Try all of the dress that you own. You were fine in my eyes half hour ago. And neither you or me won't make it any clearer. I'll be the one to let you know. Out of all of the girls, you're sports lights on, everybody's staring, till all these boys, they wasting their time. Stop standing in line, 'cause you're all mine. And this evening I won't let the feeling die. I'm never gonna leave your side. It's out of all of the girls, you're the one and only girl. Ain't nobody in the world tonight. And all of the stars that don't shine brighter than you are. Ain't nobody in the world but you. You and I, we don't wanna be like them. We can make it till the end. No, nothing can come between you and I. Not even it goes above can separate the two of us. No, nothing can come between you and I. And oh, you and I. I figured it out. I figured it out from black and white. Seconds and hours. Maybe they hard to take some time. I know how it goes. I know how it goes from wrong to right. Silence to sound. They never tried hard like us. They never fight like us. You and I, we don't wanna be like them. We can make it till the end. Nothing can come between you and I.
All right, some more beautiful music there by Emil, and we'll be talking to him later on in the show. But for now, let's get into the health segment. And today on the health segment, Dr. Kelvin Owusu has joined us, and we're going to be talking about antenatal care. Good morning, Dr. Kelvin Owusu. How are you doing?
Good morning, David. I'm very well, and you?
Fantastic. I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good.
This conversation is interesting because about 13 years ago, I was in that experience of, having to go to the hospital on the regular, to get checked up and have my wife get checked up and make sure that baby's okay and all those things. But I want to get into it and say, look at all the different things that people need to know about antenatal care.
But you see why I said that when I grew up, I want to be like you.
Why?
13 years experience. Some of us are just now starting, but hey. Anyway, so yes, I mean, antenatal is a very, very, very important part of our lives, basically, because it's one of the ways we can guarantee that you are going to have a healthy mother, very important, and a healthy baby as well, so that both of you can leave the hospital and go back and be happy. I mean, one of the issues we've had in sub-Saharan Africa is maternal mortality, and this is because a lot of our mothers fail to, do some of the things. One of the key things that they fail to do is antenatal. I mean, over the period, we've seen significant improvement, but there's still a challenge with the access to antenatal care. And even for those that actually have the access, the attendance at antenatal is still a bit low. We are still working at bringing it up. But since you say you were going along, and did you notice that if you went, the days you went with your wife, you actually left earlier than the days she went alone? I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's one of the standing principles at almost every antenatal and postnatal clinic. If the father comes along, they get priority care. This is to encourage men to take part in antenatal and postnatal care. Because see, for a lot of our, especially the rural and even to an extent the urban dwellers, the decision makers tend to be the male.
Okay.
And so a lot of women have to wait for permission. And when I say permission, I'm talking about actual permission, yes, you can go, and also the means, money for transport, you know. And so the assumption or the working theory is that if the man comes along, obviously it's a man who cares, and so we are trying to encourage them by giving them priority so that they are attended to quickly, they can go home and return to whatever they are going to do, so that then they will encourage their friends to also take a key interest in their wife's antenatal care. After all, it's not as if the woman just woke up and got pregnant by herself. You know, it takes two to tango. And so once there's a pregnancy, it means that there are two people involved. And so that's one of the things that is a standing principle that we try to do to encourage male participation in antenatal care.
Fantastic. We will continue the conversation in just a little bit. But if you're watching and you want to ask any questions to Dr. Kelvin Owusu, kindly send it to us on our WhatsApp line 0550585832, and we'll put the question to him. And just a quick reminder that this segment is brought to you by the Farmers Market. Farmers Market, 100% hygienic and farm fresh. So, what is it that you find to be the biggest challenge for, let's say, maybe not just women across board, but let's say first-time pregnancies, women who, what are some of the challenges that you tend to find comes with that?
Well, I mean, pregnancy is something that you have to experience to actually know how it feels. It doesn't matter how much somebody tells you about pregnancy. When you actually go through it yourself, you realize that this is it, you know, because every woman, as we keep saying, I mean, we've said it several times, women are generally complicated, and I'm talking about biologically, you know, and so how one person goes through pregnancy is usually different from another person's experience of that same pregnancy process. I mean, there are women who get pregnant, and for the entire duration of the pregnancy, they really have no problem and nothing. They just go through a very, we call it uneventful pregnancy, and they just deliver their baby, and then they are good to go. In fact, most women actually go through that process. And then there are also women who from day one that they get pregnant, they have issues all through the pregnancy. And so then the antenatal system or the antenatal care team has been set up in such a way that we can identify high risk group of people and then low risk group of people, and each of these people have special ways that they are taken care of, because the thing is we don't also want you to come to hospital too many times if there's really nothing you're coming to do there. And so once you are categorized, depending on the category you find yourself in, there's a schedule that you're going to follow as your antenatal. I mean, routine antenatal visits usually shouldn't be more than 4. If you have an uneventful pregnancy, more than 4 in the whole pregnancy period. And speaking of which, are you aware that pregnancy is 40 weeks?
Yes.
Not 9 months.
Yes, 40 weeks.
So it's not 9 months, it's actually 40 weeks. But the thing is, most women notice that they've missed the period, or most women, by the time they notice that they missed the period, they're already 1 month old. So that's why the assumption is that pregnancy is 9 months. And so when you look at 40 weeks, we divide that into 3, we call it trimesters. And each trimester is about 13 weeks. So the first trimester, 13 weeks, second trimester, another 13 weeks, then the third trimester. So every trimester, you're supposed to have at least 1 antenatal visit. Then the last trimester, you have a bonus visit, you know, just to make sure that the baby is going to come out without any issue. So that's why, so if you have an uneventful pregnancy, you just have 4 visits to the hospital, and then you deliver, and everybody's happy. But if you are categorized as high risk, or if in the course of the pregnancy there are some changes, then you'd have to report a bit more often. Now, for a first timer, because we don't know what
anything means in terms of the experience.
Exactly. And so, I mean, there will be some closer monitoring. So once you go through your first pregnancy and it's uneventful, most likely history repeats itself. That's what we know. So if you had an uneventful pregnancy, hopefully, most likely, your next pregnancy will also be uneventful. But if you had a high-risk pregnancy, it means that your subsequent pregnancy could be even higher risk. And so people who are categorized as high risk in the first pregnancy, subsequent pregnancies, they need even closer monitoring. You know, and so you need to make yourself available, you know. But of course, herein also lies another assumption, that because my first pregnancy was uneventful, why bother going for antenatal? You know. And so then we have some people, we have a lot of women falling out. So first pregnancy, they are religiously attending antenatal. Subsequent pregnancies, not so religiously. And it presents a challenge. You see, because again, the fact that it's likely you have an uneventful pregnancy does not mean that it's always the case. Because we also need to, it's not just about you. The baby is also part, in this case, is 2 patients in one. So we also have to monitor the patient. And so if when you go for antenatal, we are taking care of the mother as well as the baby. Very, very important. And there are so many things that we do in between those 4 visits that it's important that every woman goes through. You see, because for instance, on your first antenatal visit, we call it a booking visit. Now, this booking visit should happen, I mean, as soon as you notice you are pregnant. But in fact, let me take a step back.
Okay.
Antenatal should actually start before pregnancy, because once you are once you're a woman, you are in the fertile age group. In other words, you are between the age where you can actually give birth, and you intend to give birth. There are things you need to start doing. Key amongst which is folic acid.
Okay.
Folic acid is very, very important in making sure that the baby you are going to conceive will have the nervous system properly formed.
Okay.
You know, and so you need to start taking folic acid once you make a decision that I intend to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So folic acid is very, very important. Apart from folic acid, you need to be eating a balanced diet, because you need to have stores in place to help the newborn baby. Because once you become pregnant, you are not eating for yourself alone. You see, you're eating for the baby, and so you need to have enough store of all the micronutrients and macronutrients as well, so that once the baby comes in, you are good to go. And then when you do find out you are pregnant, then you go to hospital, and then your booking visit, there are some examinations that will be carried out to make sure that you are in quotes fit to carry that pregnancy.
Okay.
So that if you are not fit, then what can we do about it? And so with the investigations that we'll do, first of all, most people in Africa don't even know their blood group. And once you are pregnant, blood becomes a very, very, very important component in all this discussion, because once you are pregnant, we are preparing for labor, and there's a lot of bleeding during labor. One of the major causes of maternal mortality is PPH, postpartum hemorrhage. And so we need to prepare towards that thing, so that just in case, you know. So your blood group is very important.
Postpartum hemorrhage, basically you're bleeding out after birth.
Exactly.
Okay.
You are bleeding out. In fact, it can start before labor. We have complications with the placenta and other things that can actually start bleeding, which can compromise your health and the baby as well. So I mean, we cannot do without blood, and I'm sure that subsequently I will discuss that specifically. But it's blood is important. And unfortunately in Ghana we never have enough blood. And so once you are pregnant, the couple, in this case the man and the woman, you need to start preparing donors to actually put some blood in the bank, just in case. You know, unfortunately in Ghana we are not self-sufficient yet, and so we have to depend on relatives and friends come and donate in anticipation of whatever is going to happen in the course of your pregnancy. So your blood group is important, and blood group, we are talking about your whether you are O positive, O negative, etc. All those things are important. We need to determine your sickle cell status, because again, most people don't know their sickling status. We need to determine your G6PD status. These are things that can be transferred to the kid, the baby, and so we need to prepare. Once you know the mother's status and the father, if the father makes himself available, we'll do for the father as well, so that we can be definite that this child is going to have this or that. You know. Then we also have to check for what's it called? Some infections that can cross the placenta and affect the baby. Some STIs can't do that. Syphilis is one of the biggest. It can actually affect the baby, so that a child is born with neonatal syphilis, and that is a very devastating condition. So we want to make sure that if the mother has it, she's treated immediately. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HIV, all of these are things that we want to check, because again, they can all cross into the baby. And so if the mother is positive for any of these things, there are precautions you have to put in place to prevent or to protect the baby from getting it, so that you don't give birth to a child with HIV if it's possible. You know. And so these are some of the things. There are other, there's a whole gamut of tests. We need to test your urine, you know, because urine gives an indication of a lot of things going on in your kidneys, in your general system. So if there are proteins in your urine, we need to see, we need to find out what's going on, because that could lead to preeclampsia or eclampsia. These are conditions that are we don't want to happen, or we want to prevent as much as possible. If the urine shows some bacteria in there, we have to treat it, because the pregnant woman is predisposed to infection. Now, you have to understand that the baby that you are carrying is a foreign body. It's a foreign body. And the body will look at that foreign material as it will look at any other thing. Material. And so one of the mechanisms to prevent the body from killing that baby, because once the foreign material in your body, your immune system will have to deal with it. And so when you are pregnant, the hormones and the chemicals that are released in your body will suppress your immune system, so that it protects the baby.
Which means you are now predisposed to getting infected.
Exactly. So pregnant women are at risk of infection. So every pregnant woman will tell you that things that they were not having frequently, like for instance, candidiasis, they start getting it more frequently. Like UTIs, urinary tract infection, they start getting more frequently. And so that's why we as doctors and midwives would check the urine at every visit to rule out any of these things so that we can treat appropriately. And then make sure that you have a safe run towards developing a healthy baby and a healthy mother as well. So antenatal is very exciting. It's very, very exciting, I have to admit.
Now, talking about, so it's antenatal, and by breaking it down, it means before birth.
Exactly.
So antenatal care. But we've talked about the hospital aspect of antenatal care. What about in between visits? What can a pregnant woman do at home to take care of herself?
Okay, so now
what's important?
Very important. As part of antenatal care in our local setting, there's a lot of education because there are a lot of taboos with respect to pregnancy in our local setting, which is not good for the health of the woman or the baby for that matter. So antenatal care comes with a lot of education. Unfortunately, the education session sort of happens quite early in the day, so a lot of women miss it. But it's important, I mean, since you give me the opportunity. So for instance, the kind of food we eat, and in our local setting, a lot of pregnant women are not allowed to eat eggs because apparently if you eat eggs, your child will become a thief.
Wow.
Don't ask me the scientific basis for that conclusion, but it is what it is. And so eggs are quite an important source of nutrient, protein. The yolk has a lot of things in there, and so you cannot. It's unacceptable to not allow pregnant women to eat eggs, and it's relatively cheap. It's a very cheap source of protein, and so pregnant women actually should eat egg. Snails, they are not allowed to eat snails because apparently eating snails will make your child drool. But the reality on the ground is that every child will drool. You can't do anything about it. So it's not about eating snail or not eating snail. So please eat snails because again, snail.
Interesting.
Rather, pregnant women are encouraged to eat ayelo. Is it clay? That thing. I don't know the actual English name, which is actually not a good thing because it's just sand. No nutritional value.
Is it some kind of limestone or something?
It's something from the ground. I think it has a component of clay. And its point is it's not healthy. And actually, I personally have seen a case where somebody came in with intestinal obstruction because of eating ayelo.
Wow.
Because the body cannot digest it, and so if it can actually become a cake inside your intestine and block the intestine. So it's really unacceptable. But of course, during pregnancy, they get a lot of craving, these women, and the craving is not only for food. Some of them can actually crave for things that are not edible. So at some point they may crave for this ayelo but it doesn't mean that because there's a craving they need to have it. And so it's good that they understand that, or they are encouraged to eat a balanced diet as much as possible so that they can enjoy a healthy baby. Of course, and let me just chip this in, and this is quite early, but hey, I'm a doctor. Sex is very, very important
during pregnancy.
Because
I like the fact that you are chipping that in.
Oh yeah, it's very important. I mean, we are guys, know how. Unfortunately, a lot of women are prevented from having sex during pregnancy. Again, it's not good. You see, especially in the later part. It's different if your doctor has advised you not to have sex because of a peculiar situation. There's no general rule that you shouldn't have sex during pregnancy. In fact, in the later part of pregnancy, sex or semen has some chemicals in there that can trigger labor. And so you're encouraged to have sex for as long as you, the woman, is not the man, the woman is comfortable with the act. And during the antenatal class, you actually taught some of the positions that are good, more comfortable because as the baby develops, it becomes a bit of a challenge, positioning and all that. So of course, the men too, you should be understanding. If the woman cannot handle it, try and be a bit gentle and all that. But of course, by all means, enjoy yourself because
sex is also good.
Oh yeah, very important.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kelvin Owusu. He is the medical director for Optimal Care Diagnostics, and we're going to come back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Salamatu. Yes, these are both me. You see, before free SHS, my life could have taken two very different paths. The SHS path depended on how much money my parents had, what sacrifices they were willing to make, and whether they would send me or my little brother Issa to SHS. The other path is what would have become of me if there was no free SHS. But today, thanks to free SHS, my future is bright and promising.
Congratulations, you have an A. He's a boy.
Instead of depending on others, I will stand on my own feet and help my family. Free SHS is where my dreams for a better future and the dreams of thousands of young girls become a reality. Don't let NBC take it away from us. Vote for NPP and give all Ghanaian girls a chance for a better future.
Yeah, if you win, no one win like that's planet. My baby, oh no.
Sunana Abdulrazak. Last week, I received a message from Bet Planet. Come on, now win golden ticket. Nadanje Injin Saya, Mercedes Benz. Omba Kuyada Kuma, Gashina, Gasuna Nakai. Ongera Gora Common Gaskiani. Mona Sunchi, now go to Bet Planet. Now go to
yeah, if you win, no one win like Bet Planet. My baby, oh no. If you win, no one win like Bet Planet.
All right, welcome back, and it's time for us to have a conversation concerning national road safety. I think it's such an important topic. You know, we mentioned it earlier on at the beginning of the show. So if you missed that, this is the conversation we're going to have right now. And I've been joined by Kwame Kodua Etuahene, and he is the head of regulations, inspections, and compliance with the National Road Safety Authority. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my
How
brother.
are you doing?
Quite well.
It's good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Now,
too,
today, we want to get into the topic of the wearing of seat belts. Yeah. Okay. I've seen some very interesting documentaries about wearing seat belts and not wearing seat belts and the things that can possibly happen when an accident takes place and all that. But I just want to start off by saying that I saw something 2 nights ago. I was in an Uber. And I hadn't noticed that the driver wasn't wearing his seatbelt. But as we approached a police checkpoint, I noticed it because he suddenly pulls the seatbelt. And I asked him, I said, excuse me, are you wearing the seatbelt for the sake of the policeman or for your own life? Tell us how important and why it's so important.
Well, thanks so much and good morning to your viewers. It's an unfortunate occurrence. Because many would do that when they do not have a better appreciation of the significance of the seatbelt. So when the manufacturer manufactures a car, and even within the space of our laws, there are certain equipment and part of the vehicles which is often referred to as a use requirement, which is to say that without those facilities, one should be constrained from using the vehicle. The seatbelt is one. It's such an important safety device. You know, as you use a vehicle on the road, there's a likelihood for collisions, incident, crashes, and one of the mechanisms put in place to limit the associated risk of these crashes is a seatbelt. So it is not there for aesthetic purposes. Neither is it there because you you shy away from prosecution or you don't want to have problems with the police. Ultimately, that is the consequence that may occur at the end of the tail. But it's important as drivers and users of the road to appreciate that it is in there for a purpose, and the purpose is to provide a certain safety cushion when it is that you have suffered a crash, to limit the impact of the crash. And that's why we have these devices in our vehicles.
So I notice a lot of the times that if there happens to be a road crash, if usually, you know, somebody survives, some people don't survive, you tend to find that people in the back seat tend to be more harmed you know, than those in the front seat. Now, you think it's a head-on collision, so you assume that those in front, you know, will probably face more impact. But it seems to be that we've emphasized so much on the wearing of seatbelts, focusing on the front seats, as opposed to everybody within the vehicle. Talk to us about
You're right. There's something we call secondary collision, which is that so when you are in a vehicle and it's moving, and there is an impact, if you are not on a seatbelt, even though the vehicle will likely come to a stop, you'll still be moving. So you could be at the back seat.
Newton's law of motion.
Yes, and you'll be moving at the same pace as a moving vehicle. Without a seatbelt, which will put you in check and arrest you to your seat, keep you firm and intact, you are likely to suffer the consequence of the secondary collision. So that's what happens. So that's how come if you are at the back seat or in the middle seat, you would continue to move as though the vehicle is moving, and you are likely to suffer severe injuries without the seatbelt. And that's why we advocate that wherever you find yourself in a moving vehicle, you must, as a matter of your culture, develop the attitude of putting on the seatbelts, whether you are the front seat, the back, middle. To the extent that the seatbelts have been provided, you must use them to avoid the consequence of the secondary collision.
There seems to be also another mindset that sometimes I've noticed that people have and say, and I would say, I'll admit that sometimes I've also been guilty of this, where you say, oh, I'm just going around the corner, you know, so there's no need for the seatbelt. But then you think of the seatbelt and you're thinking, okay, longer journey, therefore seatbelt, you know, and as I'm just going around the corner, I don't need to put the seatbelt on. If you
so
take us into that.
It's true. I mean, some have given all kinds of excuses, reasons not to use it. But even within urbanized environments, the danger is that you are not too sure of the next driver. I mean, he could be asked to drive within a 30-kilometer range, but he could be flying at 50 or 80. So you may desire to reach out to an activity just next door, and yet an oncoming vehicle with such a serious impact may just destabilize you. So it doesn't matter what distance. I mean, if it's a 5 or 10 meter distance, we need to develop the attitude. You get on the vehicle, you put it on. In fact, if you were in charge of the vehicle, it is always advisable that before the others strap up or buckle up, you may hesitate from even moving the vehicle. So that subconsciously we can build that attitude.
Is there any situation, I'm going to share a little story with you. Is there any situation that you feel that is ever justified not to wear a seatbelt?
I can think of just one.
Okay.
Which is that on health grounds.
Okay.
So the doctor just left. Yes, a woman who is pregnant, who has been advised medically not to put on the seatbelt could be excused, except for that situation. I cannot fathom any other exception for non-use of seatbelts.
My Form 5 physics teacher told us a story. This is so many years ago, and he was just trying to say how sometimes odd things happen, you know. And the whole idea of wearing the seatbelt is that it's a must all the time, every time, no excuses. But he gave us a story of when he used to live in Kenya, and a friend of his had an accident, and they were going off an embankment, right? And they got, you know how the vehicle is going off, but there's a railing, and the vehicle got trapped on the edge. Now, part of the railing broke off when the vehicle impacted it and went through the vehicle. Now, he said, interestingly, when they found his friend, if he had been wearing a seatbelt, he would have been strapped to the back of the seat, and the railing would have gone right through him. But because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he was thrown forward, and the railing went through the back. It sounds like a perfect excuse not to wear seatbelts.
Well, yes, but you see, in the course of our work, there are 1,001 experiences. Those are convenient reasons not to.
Yeah.
But in reality, in fact, when you take 9 out of 10 crash situations, then you have to engage survivors. It is often the case that they don't suffer the severe consequence because of the use of seatbelt. In fact, research has proven that without the seatbelt, you are 30 times at risk.
More likely,
yes, of suffering these consequences. Otherwise, on the face of it, it may appear that, yes, it's just like the crash helmet when the woman say it will disturb
their hair.
Or it's just a short distance, and so on and so forth. But it is there for a purpose, and the engineering that went into the design of a vehicle taught that once you have the seatbelt, it does a lot of good in trying to keep you afloat in the event of a crash.
Yeah. Let's talk about the legal side of things. Punitive measures. I feel almost as though we are not going hard enough on people not wearing seatbelts, and this is what is allowing sometimes you see that the drivers are not doing it. I'm just going to juxtaposition that vis-a-vis the situation where you look at our public transportation, for example, where there aren't seatbelts available, for passengers. They are for the drivers, but not the passengers. So what?
Yeah, so I agree. I think there are policy issues that would have to be resolved on that side of the conversation. I recall that a couple of years ago, there were attempts to introduce a seatbelt in these buses, but was shelved for one reason or the other. But ultimately, it's a conversation that we must have going forward, given the importance that come with it, especially for long distance vehicles. But otherwise, on the legal side, there are consequences. Others have argued that it is not severe enough. In fact, until 2007 or 8, where the existing law then was reviewed, it was more harsher than it is now. But we believe that if the police and all of us were to find ways to even enforce the law as it is now, it could engineer some level of interest and compliance. Today, if you were found guilty of not wearing the seatbelt, you could suffer a fine of up to 100 penalty units or 1,200 Ghana cedis. In addition, or in the alternative, you could also spend up to 6 months imprisonment for just not putting on the seatbelt. And if we could get as much support from the enforcement agencies and make some scapegoats of a few of us, we are sure that the dynamics might change. Otherwise, for the last couple of years, our focus has been to try to promote so that users will begin to appreciate the safety benefits without having to focus so much on the consequence of the legal consequence of not putting them on. But I agree that we must find a way to balance the two, so that whilst we educate, we can also enforce to ultimately shape road user behavior.
All right. Anyway, I have a suggestion. I'll tell you later. I think that the cameras that we have in town now, we should start arresting people based on cameras that are catching people without seatbelts. Not wait for the police.
The automation, that will also help a lot.
I think
it cut down the human interest.
For the fact that people will know that you don't even need to see the police for you to get arrested, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll continue this conversation sometime next week. All right, so I've been speaking with Kwame Kodua-Etiahin. He's the head of Regulations, Inspections and Compliance with the National Road Safety Authority. We'll continue this conversation next week. Stay tuned. We'll come back after these messages.
On the 7th of December, you will be going to the polls to elect a member of parliament. How well do you know your constituency?
We take a visit to the Awutu Senya East constituency of the Central Region. We are coming to you from the Ishayaso constituency in the Ashanti region. I'm still in the Aswanse constituency.
Political parties will be campaigning for your vote.
We have got almost about 80 to 90 different projects across the country.
There is no single school under any electoral area that has not seen the development of Honorable Muntaka.
But as a constituent, what will inform your choice of a candidate to represent you in Parliament?
My party is my community. What program are you bringing in to solve the problem of my community?
Be involved in what concerns you. My name is Preparedness. Join me on the constituency for all you need to know concerning your socio-economic development. The constituency airs on Citi TV Mondays to Thursdays.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to talk about entertainment and Kwame is here with us.
Dziffa.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Where is that? So where have you sent him?
I sent him to go buy me something this morning, you know.
I hope he's going to get me watching as well because I'm hungry.
I'm not sure you're going to get anything from him.
Oh, no. Anyway, Ghana movie industry, what's going on there?
Yes. So I think for some time now we've been thinking about how to call the Ghanaian movie industry, the film industry. I've been hearing names like Gollywood, Gallywood.
But we have Kumawood already. That's just the Kumasi side of things. Eh?
Kumawood.
We have Akrawood, Tamawood,
Tallywood, Tamale.
So what would you call Takrade?
I think we have Bollywood. Volta.
Are we making this up or they actually exist? I don't want people to say we're giving the wrong film.
No.
There's actually
Tallywood for Tamale.
And
Bollywood for Volta region. Film industry.
Interesting.
And then I think 2 years ago, the president of Film Directors Guild of Ghana, his name is Richard Boateng, and he came out to tell us that they had settled on a name called Gollywood.
Gollywood. Yeah, we all heard Gollywood. Yeah, I thought that was the official name. No?
We thought, but the other stakeholders in the industry say that he didn't really inform them. They were not part of that decision.
But wouldn't it drag a little bit if we have to inform everyone? I mean,
but
we have Nigerians have Nollywood.
Did you like that name?
I don't think it's original at all because we have Hollywood, Nollywood, Bollywood, then Gollywood. I don't think it's original. I think we can do something like a Fieni type thing where people have to learn. Anyway.
So, the National Film Authority, it is the body that regulates the film industry right here in Ghana.
Okay.
I think it was inaugurated earlier this year when the Film Act was passed. It has David Donto as the chairman. David Donto as the chairman, and they are asking the general public to suggest the name for the Ghanaian film industry.
Okay, so they're making it inclusive.
Inclusive.
Nice.
So you go on to their social media handles, to their Facebook page, for example, they posted something that was on 4th November, asking people to send their suggestions, and there is actually a Google Doc link there that you can enter and suggest the name that you think best fits the Ghanaian film industry.
So they're saying what is in a name.
Okay.
So are these the things that need to be checking for, or what?
I believe these are the things that they think names should have.
Okay. So it has to have an identity, a spirit.
Yes.
Energy, unity, God. But I don't see all of this when I hear Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood. I don't see identity, and maybe in Hollywood the identity, but I don't see
the spirit, the energy.
There's
a God factor in there as well.
Yeah. Okay. Please be as original as possible.
So yeah, but it doesn't matter whether it has a wood or it doesn't have a wood.
I think we don't need a wood.
And I went through some of the comments on social media.
Okay.
I saw names like Sinifie.
Sinifie, I like that. Like a cinema house or a movie house.
Yes.
Okay.
I
But
saw
that has a
Cynic Room.
Cynic Room. But then there's like too much tree. We have other languages as well.
I saw
where are the Voltarians and the
Anansi Way. Way is gone, right?
Okay, that's good. Okay, I like that.
I saw
combination of
Anansi
tree.
Crew.
Oh no, that one with tree.
I saw Ghana Films.
Oh no, that's not original. What
So
else?
then I saw. Have I mentioned Anansi Chrome?
Which one was your favorite of all?
I think I would go for, if it becomes necessary that we get a name for the industry, Anansi Chrome wouldn't be bad.
What about Anansi Sem? We all know Anansi Sem to so, Sem to what? Or find a different
but
language.
you know, like a place for filmmaking. Chrome, like a
Anansi Chrome.
place.
Okay, I like that. Are you sure you're not the one that typed there?
No, I went on social media. I went to their social media handle, another post, and I saw some of these.
But where are the other
through.
tribes? I feel like everything is just tree. We
I
already
mentioned
have
Anansi
Kuma and Onkwa. That's why it's even half, partial Ga, still tree. Where are the rest of our people?
Anansi is a Ghanaian character, right? In our folk tales.
Okay, but can we all suggest things? Because Paula and Emma, they want to suggest. Some friends of mine want to suggest.
Everybody can
just
suggest.
go on the website.
Yes, and then
fill out the form.
Fill the forms, and then that's it. But the question is, do we need a name to become vibrant?
We need to just get the sector together, to be honest.
South African film industry.
Nobody knows what they're called.
It's just cinema of South Africa or something. It doesn't really have a nickname like Hollywood or Bollywood or Nollywood.
But you know, we are changing. Even when celebrities come, we want to do meet and greet. So let's just do it the way.
So we should get a name.
Anyway, last week you guys were here.
Yes.
Talk about Sakyi endorsing NPP.
Yes.
Now,
Shatawale
himself is speaking. What is he saying?
Oh, so last week, apart from the Sakyi thing, we also mentioned Samini doing a song for the NPP and all that. And some would have thought that, okay, Shatta.
I mean, he got money from
also come out to say something, Mahama or Nanado. But he, in an interview, said that they can't pay him for endorsement.
Can we hear him?
Let's hear him.
All right, let's listen to Shatawale.
Political parties are not my type of thing, and you know what I really want in life. I mean, they can't give me, but if they can give me, why not? It's business. What's my say? Because maybe I'm a Juno. But my price no money to me. That is it. Like I'm so expensive for a political party. Yeah, so like
you are so expensive for a political party.
Not in terms of my nature, not materialistic things, but I'm so much, filled with, a certain spirit that God has given me. So, I have, the mouthpiece for the people, and, I have to really stand as a man for myself. So, if a political party wants to approach me, it's going to be a very difficult thing, because, to convince me to do a song for a political party is not my thing. But if you want to convince me to do it, then you have to, come to my terms.
So Shatawale
saying he's too expensive for politicians.
But at the point
so he wasn't expensive in 2016. Is that what he's saying?
Oh,
or now he's Beyonce.
It wasn't an endorsement like
Beyonce
that.
level
Performance, you see, performing on stage.
But he still went to take his money from them playing his song.
But this is Shatta trying to say that now. If you want me, bring bigger money.
So he's marketing himself in a way.
It's a bait now. It's a bait.
So what should we make of this?
Oh, I think that he's telling them that he's available, but if you want to come for me, bring money, some money that is bigger than what you pay the other people.
But how effective would that be if everyone knows you just did it for the money? Because when you look at the Samini work, it looks like he really put his heart into it.
Are you sure?
Going through Akufo-Addo's childhood, blah, 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 all that extra.
Have you seen the hat?
Yeah, but Sakyi just put 3 lines and he was, not even 3 lines, like 4 words. That's all he did. He didn't do a whole song and a whole history.
Do you know the stories behind the stories?
What's the stories behind the stories?
Oh, I'm surprised that you can see Samini's heart in the song.
Not the heart.
Oh,
but
okay.
Shadow Wale is saying it's purely business.
Yeah, it's business.
It just comes across as Charlie, you know.
But there are most of these politicians who are also doing politics.
That's true.
For
so you
business
think it's fine?
purposes. So if it's business, he's marketing his brand, using his brand to market your campaign for you. Just take the money and do it.
He's expensive right now. Like the most expensive guy in Ghana.
Expensive.
You can't afford him. He's on Beyonce's level.
Charlie, you can't pay him, but you can pay him if you want to.
If you want to. You just see him in chambers. Anyway, what's happening with Top 10 City Countdown?
City Countdown on 97.3 Citi FM every Friday, 4 p.m. sharp. Then on Citi TV every Saturday with Emmanuel Sapon. Charlie, you know, here we just give you the best top 10 songs in this country.
All right.
But this one is authentic. We use all the parameters, you know, the trends on social media, the YouTube streams and everything, airplay, everything, to give you who is performing when it comes to music in Ghana.
So let's take a look at the
top
songs that made it to the top 10 City Countdown.
This is the City Countdown. The City Countdown. This is the City Countdown. Number 10. Number 9. Number 8. Number 7.
Send me a location, I go come. I'm going to the moon, and if I come back, send me a location, I go come.
Number 6. Number 5. Number 4.
When I stay everywhere like the winter, Joe hustler for chop king. What me do, mommy? La Sulu, yes I love, yes I love. What I was she got,
Number 3.
Who you taking home tonight? How they feel you when I know the lie? Who you taking home tonight?
Number 2.
Today, hey mama, hey I ever say, shake your body, man, you're gonna, hey mama, hey I ever say, so why the party day today?
All right, welcome back.
Yeah, we have.
So at the beginning of the show, we started with Emil, and Emil has been giving us good sounds throughout the show. I want to talk to him right now. Good morning, Emil.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Fantastic. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
And you are incredibly talented.
Thank you.
Wow.
Tell us about Only You.
Okay, so I wrote the song 3 to 4 years ago.
Okay.
And it was only recently that I was like, okay, I want to take this music thing to a different level.
Nice.
And then I was like, yeah, I'll just go to the studio and record it. So then I spoke to my management, and they're like, okay, this is the time, there's a moment, and then we did it.
Awesome, and it came out last month. So where
Yes,
can we
please.
all get it? Congratulations, first of all.
Okay, so come again?
Where can we find it? Where can we get
Okay,
the single download,
the song.
play it?
Okay. So the song is on Audio Mac and then SoundCloud.
Okay.
And then I've got the visuals on YouTube as well.
Nice. What's your YouTube channel?
Amiel Music.
Amiel Music.
AMIEL MUZIQ.
And that's your social media handle?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Well, we do want to hear more from you, okay? So we'll be right back with you. And yes, if you've been watching us from the beginning of the show, you know how much exciting fun it has been today. Thank you for staying with us. And if you missed any of the segments of the show, go over to our Citi TV YouTube page, which is Citi TV, and you'll find all the different segments nicely packaged over there.
My name is Dziffa Ametam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
Now we're going to enjoy some great music from Emil.
Okay, so this very song is my first single. It's called Only You.
Thank you.
You talk, I talk, we all the talk, so room for listen. You say I hurt you bad, you can't forgive, you're leaving me. I know I hurt you bad, but please don't leave my side. Door on your door, make you miss out. Kakemya keruya ushini, ejake bononin kebago. Kakemya keruya ushini, ejake bononin kebago. They say all the run cold from the safe you born. I go walk with you through the trials, through the storm. There's things where I had to cry, you didn't make out to cry. A dog on your door, when you miss out.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life